Pete's hope is that the manuscripts still remain in the cave. Unexpected company arrives over the hill. It's the Lomantang Youth Club, a newly formed political group. They immediately challenge the authority of the team to enter the caves and accuse them of attempting to steal the texts.
He's saying that we don't need to do a detailed inventory, photographic inventory of the contents of the cave. They can do that themselves and put them up on the net. That's one of the issues.
The youth club wants to keep the manuscripts under their control. They believe selling the ancient scripts on the internet could bring good money.
They call themselves the youth club, but these people are a bunch of troublemakers. They're really only a political action committee. They have a political agenda. They're looking for money. They're looking for power and control.
The youth club questions the presence of the Bunpo lamas, whom Charles Ramble invited to help decipher the texts, which Charles believes are Bun. They are Bun scholars, but the locals are Buddhist, and they don't want Bunpo lamas on their turf. The lamas leave to seek help from the Kempo's monastery. And so the age-old persecution of a faith continues. Mustang may be mostly Buddhist, but its roots are Bun. It took 1,100 years for Buddhism to reach the Himalayas. The story of the faith begins in the 6th century BC, when a prince named Siddhartha Gautama, later known as the Buddha, was born in southern Nepal. He was raised in luxury. When he reached the age of 29, he stepped out of his palace for the first time. What he saw changed his life forever. The sick, the poor, and the aging. He renounced his privileged life, and for 6 years he meditated and came to realize that all things in life are impermanent, caught in the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. At the age of 35, he became the Lord Buddha, the Enlightened One. The Buddha was not the first to teach the path to enlightenment. Surprisingly, his life story mirrors that of another teacher. According to those who follow the Bun faith, the Bunpo, thousands of years before the Buddha, a prince named Tonpa Shenrab became disillusioned by the wealth around him and renounced his privileged life. He launched the Bun faith, whose influence reached from Central Asia to China. The Bunpo often say the historical Buddha was simply a reincarnation of the even earlier Tonpa Shenrab. Because Bun grew out of an animistic and shamanistic tradition, the few people who still practice it are often mistrusted, mistaken as practitioners of a kind of black magic. As a result, today the Bun religion is perceived a malevolent force by many.
There's a great deal of misunderstanding, particularly among Buddhists, about what Pön is. They still have this idea that Pön was some kind of benighted dark religion that had to be effaced.
It was the mythical actions of one great figure that brought about the triumph of Buddhism over Bun. 1,300 years ago, when Bun was the dominant faith of Mustang, a great teacher, Guru Rinpoche, traveled through the region preaching the sermons of Buddhism. His following was unprecedented, and he left an indelible mark on the Himalayas. It was here in Mustang where he established the first Tibetan Buddhist monastery. Mustang was the site of his historic slaying of a demoness who represented the Bun forces resisting Buddhism.
Guru Rinpoche catches the demoness and disembowels her, tears her to pieces. And this is why when you see blue striations in the rocks, this is the liver of the demoness that was flung into the cliff. You'll see very red streaks of rock. This, of course, is the blood of the demoness. There are little fragments of her liver all over the place. The Buddhists themselves associate the demoness with the indigenous dark forces which they regard as being Bon.
It was a metaphorical spilling of the blood of the Bon Po. The legacy of that conflict is still palpable at Marjong today.